recording. Hello. Happy What the Heck Wednesday. I am coming to you from my really messy office, and hopefully it is going to get cleaned up soon with my renovation coming, fingers crossed, to a final close. So I'm super excited about that. And I can unpack all the rooms that I've just shoved all the furniture and knickknacks and everything into, and things can start to feel a little more comfortable again. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about happiness. What happiness means, do we have a happiness gene, and how happiness impacts our wellness journey, and how happiness impacts our eating, and how we can actually hack our happiness. So I'm going to give you some fun stuff that you can mess with as you learn how to hack your happiness. So I'm going to do a little bit of story time because I'm currently reading a book about happiness genes. And I'm going to start with that. I started reading it today and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this would be a great topic to bring to What the Heck Wednesday, to just have like a discussion about happiness. So post in. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what I'm talking about. What do you think? It's valid, it's bunk, or how you see yourself using this, using the things that we're talking about, or ways that you can see yourself using what we're talking about to help push your wellness journey forward. So I'm gonna put on my glasses, grandma here, and start going into this. So have you ever bought something, right? Have you ever bought something, anything, thinking it would actually bring you happiness, right? Clothing, boots, retail therapy used to be huge for me. And what happened after you bought it? Like after the initial rush of pleasure, did you find that owning it, whatever it was it, some really cool lipstick that you saw online? Was it a new car? Was it an iPhone? Whatever it was, did it elevate your mood to the point where you could say, I'm now filled with joy because I got this particular thing, this object? I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with buying something that enhances your comfort or quality of life. However, we do believe that the relentless pursuit of happiness through the acquisition of objects like a sugar high is like a sugar high, right? It's that quick rush, and then you have this drop, and then once you go through the drop, you have this new craving to buy something else so that you can come back and find that happiness, or kind of that dopamine serotonin rush. And there's literally a multi-billion-dollar industry dedicated to hypnotizing you. Yes, I'll talk about that in another time we get together, but actually hypnotizing you into believing that unless you buy whatever the particular thing is, that you won't be successful, popular, or even sexy, right? Like that's got to ring true. You know what I'm talking about. So are you a stuffologist? So an informal survey of more than 500 executives found that more than half of them had made a major purchase because they had seen a seductive commercial on television, only to find themselves disappointed or frustrated by the result. Like that SUV on top of a mountain, sounds like a Land Rover to me, lured many with a dream of spending more time outdoors in, rugged natural surroundings. But when they got it home, they found that it was impractical for their daily use. Some said it did not fit into the garage, at home, or at work. Others were disappointed by the low gas mileage. Ooh, Hummers, low gas mileage right there, right? Everyone in this informal survey sheepishly admitted to allowing themselves to be swept away by the idea that buying one of those vehicles would significantly improve the quality of their life. So for centuries, people have been asking whether, money can buy happiness. And we don't think that this can be answered with a simple yes or no. Taking a friend to lunch, splurging on a birthday gift, like a self-care session, going on vacation with your BFF can definitely briefly lift your spirits and generate the kind of emotional memories that make you want to smile. However, whether you live in a penthouse, a raised ranch, or a rustic bunk in the middle of nowhere, you can experience comfort, pleasure, a peace of mind, and joy For instance, when traveling through a desert in northern Venezuela, a lady named Lori learned that even people who live in concrete huts without indoor plumbing can sometimes be happier than those of us with jacuzzis and air conditioning. Like the Venezuelan desert people love to party. At night, they turn up their boom boxes, grab a few beers, and dance under the stars, under the stars. Like, what else do you really need? Like, that brings me joy just thinking about it. Um, your values, relationships, and beliefs can make or break your baseline emotional state. And this is key with anything, including your health and wellness and what you choose or do not choose to eat. A University of Rochester team of psychologists studied a group of young adults during their first year after graduating college. And researchers found that those grads who had needs for autonomy, competency, and connection to others were met, when they had those needs met, they were just simply happy. And those who focused on achieving extrinsic goals, like earning a good income while doing a job that they hated, ever done that? Yeah, me. Were just miserable. So I'm going to skip the next part about this. We're going to get to it. And we're going to talk about a happiness asset. Asset. I'm like having trouble pronouncing things today. So make a list of people, activities, places, music, movies, books, foods, pets, and situations that actually bring you happiness or joy. It's kind of like Marie Kondoing it, right? But this is the stuff that brings you joy. Don't get rid of it. This is the stuff that brings you joy. And on a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, which 10 is going to be like the peak or the maximum or like the bestest, the most bestest is going to be the most bestest level of joy that you can experience on an item on your list. And review your list with a friend or family member and discuss how each of these things actually brings you happiness and whether your happiness is temporary, sustainable, consistent, or increasing with time. And anyone or anything that brings you happiness that increases in time, it like the value increases. It's like instead of compound interest with a checking account or earning all the extra value with your investment accounts, this is like an investment account for your happiness. Something that brings you joy and grows over time is going to be one of your happiness assets, and you want to have those. And as with any other asset, your home, jewelry, artwork, and investments, your happiness assets have special value to you, and they should be treated accordingly. Like, never take your happiness assets for granted. Care for them as you would care for your home or your financial investments. For your happiness assets will continue to bring you increased happiness if you value and take good care of them. And at the end of the day, you will probably find that nurturing your happiness assets brought you deep joy and lasting joy because they responded and reciprocated in kind. So thinking about happiness assets, things that grow over time, like obviously relationships are huge in this, and actually putting the time in to really make those relationships a priority. So those people, whether it's your kids or your spouse or your BFF, like really making an effort to find date nights or, dinner nights, or just get together for, an hour or something, and just really trying to maintain those, doing, video sessions. I'm going to sneeze here in a second. Little video calling, hello, whatever that word is, doing that to increase your happiness, because that's an asset that's going to continue to give to you. Like, what are some other things? I'm going to go out here. We're going to go health and wellness here. Surprise. But exercise. Now go with me on this, because I know a lot of us don't like to exercise, right? But is it perhaps that you haven't found that one thing that you absolutely love, your soulmate workout, your soulmate exercise, whatever that may be? It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be, this just cardio blast hit workout. It could be yoga. It could be meditation. Like, that actually is a form of exercise if you think about it. It could just be walking around the block with your dogs. If your pets are a big, big asset in your life and they bring you joy, taking a walk with them takes it to the next level. So, finding some things that are going to create value for you in the future, like I'm going to exercise, right? So I'm going to be fit. I'm going to cardiovascularly, things are going to be good for me. Like things are going to be healthy. My heart's going to be healthy. I'm going to build muscles. I'm going to lose fat. And when I lose fat, because what's in your fat cells in addition to fat is chemical toxins that are on our foods, in our, all over the place, in the clothes we wear and the things we wash with, in the air, the environmental impacts of that are weighing you down. When you work out, you're going to blast those toxins out through your sweat glands, right? Through exhaling, because you're getting toxins out when you exhale. So many good things, so many different things that come out of that exercise that is going to be an investment in your future. You're not going to spend tons and tons and tons and tons of money seeking medical advice because your body is basically malfunctioning because you're not treating it the way that it needs to be treated, because you're not getting out and getting steps. And like I said, it doesn't have to be crazy. You could walk for half an hour. Like that is exercise. That is movement, finding a way to do that. So, and once you do it enough, you'll get addicted to it. It'll be part of your routine, and it'll be something that really does bring you joy because you feel good and it's a good investment. And the same thing with eating well, right? So we tend to give up. We human beings in general, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody in particular, but we human beings in general tend to give up way too quickly on our health and wellness journeys. We go a week trying to eat healthy, and sometimes we go all in, right? And sometimes when you go all in on something and it's totally new, like you shake up stuff too much and your critter brain goes off and it wants the same. The same is good, the same works for me. What are you doing here? You're changing a million different things in me. You're making me eat broccoli. You're making me prep foods. You're making me, go work out. I just want to go sit on the couch because the couch does something for me. The couch is a routine. The couch, sitting on the couch and watching TV does, in a sense, create something valuable, but it's not something that's going to create long-term joy for you unless you can, tie it to something else. Like back to the workouts, I tie my Netflix binges to working out. So not only do I get the joy of watching one of my favorite shows, but I also get the joy that comes with the accomplishment of actually getting on the treadmill and working out. And I get both my Netflix binge and both my working out done at the same time. I've tied two things together so that I can only, if I want to get on the treadmill, I'm going to watch my movie or my TV show. If I want to watch my TV show, I can only do it while I'm on the treadmill. So I've created a routine and I've bound these two things together that I like to do. One that brings me joy all alone. I could just go binge shows, and then one that now brings me joy because I feel good when I'm done. And I've watched a show I like the dopamine, the serotonin, the endorphins, like the chemicals, the hormones in my body, like the happiness ones are on fleek when I'm done, unless it's a really sad one and then it's kind of cathartic. But still, that's what I'm doing. And the same thing happens, with the same things can be done with eating well, right? So really, really sinking into how good it's going to feel, like with your whole heart, with your whole body. I'm going to kind of help you hack this, right? I'm going to end reading right there and I'm going to help you hack this. So to eat well, right? We normally fall back into old habits because those old habits have something that is, that works for us, that creates some sort of comfort. And it may be a ritual that we created recently. It may be a ritual that we created in our youth. It may be based on beliefs that were handed down to us when we were younger about what you should do when you go home. You watched your parents, right? Nobody has to necessarily talk to you to settle beliefs into your head. You may have seen this, your dad came home or your mom came home from work, sat down on the couch, had a glass of wine, watched TV and kind of chilled out. Or you see it on TV. Like I remember I remember, back in the 90s, I know I just aged myself, totally dated. Back in the 90s, like everybody in the movies was like smoking cigarettes. And so it was kind of like, hey, maybe I should do that. Maybe because like everybody else is. I mean, it really does. Those things kind of sit in your head. Everybody else on TV is like eating Doritos or doing whatever and just chilling out. Like you don't see, that's what role models are for. Having role models there to, pick up on the good things that they do. So I want you to hack your happiness. And so I want you to take like maybe we'll just think about eating healthy because I think that's the best place to start. You could work out like a fiend, but that's really if you think of like the Pareto principle, that's really 80-20. Like 20% is going to be working out, 80% is what you eat and what you put in your mouth and how you feel when you do it. So I want you to think about something really happy that's happened in your life. It doesn't have to be food related, it can be anything. And I really just hacked this the other day in an insane way. And I didn't realize that I had this huge bubble of happiness inside of me. But I found on YouTube. So I am certifiably I'm a Disney geek. I'm a Disney park geek. I'm an amusement park geek. Like I love roller coasters. I love all of that. But I love Disney. I love Disney because it is this experience, and that's the whole point about Disney. It's this experience that you're completely immersed in the moment get into a hotel or get into the park or whatever. Like you are part of Disney. Now all of a sudden you're in this new land. It's like a place of escape. And it just, ever since I was little, just fills me with the most insane joy, this bubble of joy that like just radiates from my heart, right? And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think my daughter has like caught my love for it. So I was online and I found videos. It's not even really video, it's just a track, but it's got pictures with it. So it's just a track of the music at the parks. So when you walk in the park and you hear the music in the park and you go to the different places, the different lands there are at Disney, and there's different music and there's even music at the rides like Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that. It has everything. It's like you're walking around the park and you're going through and there's all the music. And it is so insane how your brain attaches memories to things, attaches memories to taste, to smells, to sounds, to so many different things. And this happens to be one of those kind of auditory ones for me. And the minute I started listening to this YouTube for, the Magic Kingdom, there was this big smile on my face, huge smile on my face. And I just got the chills and it was amazing. Okay. So watch, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how you take this to the next level. So find that thing that creates this ultimate amount of joy for you. Close your eyes and really immerse yourself in that experience, whatever it may be, and bring it up. And it can't be food related because that defeats the purpose. So it has to be some sort of experience, like my Disney one, right? The birth of your child, whatever that may be. And as you're closing your eyes and sitting in this, I want you to take it up a notch. Take up that joy a notch. And then take up the joy another notch. And I want you to 10x that joy that you're feeling. Like I'm getting chills right now because like some of it's like popping through for me. And then 50x it. Like how big can you make that joy bubble, right? Of that good feeling. And as you're doing that, I want you to pick a spot on your body that you don't normally touch. A lot of people like to do fingers, but I'm always touching fingers since I do yoga, right? With my mudras. So I picked a spot right here, basically on my wrist. Like if I was going to not take my temperature. Oh my God, my brain's not working today. To my pulse, to take my pulse and find that spot. And as you're sitting in this kind of you're in your mind, you're in your imagination, in your joy place, right? And you're amping up the joy. What if it was 10x more? What if it was 50x more? Like, how big can I make this so that like your whole body tingles? There's so much joy that you feel like you're going to explode. Put your finger in your spot, and I want you to record that feeling. Now, it's not strange. It sounds strange when I say it. And just do it for a second and record that. And you're going to link tactily that memory to that spot. And so, come back out of that moment and go back in and do it again. And then record it, right? By tactily hitting here in your whatever your spot is. It could be up here, it could be your nose, whatever it is. Mine just happens to be here. And do that. Do that daily. Or at any time that you remember that joy moment and you're like, oh, this is so beautiful. Do it again. Okay. So this is going to be your hack for happiness, and it's an NLP practice, a neuro linguistic programming practice that goes there. And you're going to learn to you're gonna slowly but surely link happiness with that one spot. So what does this have to do with anything, Heather? Okay, so when you're in a moment where you're unhappy and you find the need to comfort yourself with food, or you don't want to get up and work out because you're just not feeling it, right? We've had those days, many days. Um, or you're starting to kind of crush yourself, verbally inside your head, the inner mean girl or inner mean guy that's in there, right? Telling you like you're a failure and you're never going to lose the weight and find your happy spot. Find your happy spot, go back to that happy moment and let that be a break, an interrupter in what's going on there. Because for a lot of us, this is where we give up. And if you don't have that kind of feel good thing going on there, you won't take that next step to that healthy moment. Happy people are healthy people because you want to do what's best for you when you're happy, when you feel good about yourself, when you're having a great time. You're going to make the good choices, right? You're going to make way better choices than you do when you're sad, when you're down, and you're out. So this is one of those hacks that you can do, is remembering those really happy moments and having like basically your joy button. You could take that so many different ways, but basically having your joy button right there in a place where you can grab it and switch that mood around. And especially if you're an emotional eater. If you're an emotional eater, having this is going to help you out tremendously because you can intercept those thoughts that are leading you down the path to wanting to eat whatever's in the pantry or the refrigerator, or an emotional, like a non-eater, right? You can remove the stress. Stress is another thing that prohibits us from losing weight because the hormones that are in there when you're stressed out are basically shutting down your digestive system. You don't need to digest your cereal, your hamburger, your sandwich when you're being chased by a bear. This is like a really, really old function that's going on in our brain. Your body shuts down so you don't digest your food as well as you would if you were in a relaxed state. So this brings you back to that relaxed state when you're in a state that has you, hyper anxious and stressed out so that you can do the things you want to do. And some people, when you're stressed out, you're reaching for a drink, and maybe you don't want that because that 150, 350 calories in that drink, is what's going to make or break you over the year. That's going to have you either gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds. So finding that happiness switch is key. Okay, so that's really it. I just wanted to make this quick, come back here in like 20 minutes and just talk about that. We'll talk about some more stuff next week in What the Heck Wednesday. If you have any questions or if you've tried this before, I would love to hear how it works for you. I absolutely love it. It is such a great hack and it keeps me on point and it keeps me in a mood where I want to continue to do things that are good for me. And when things are good for me, things are good for everybody else around me, right? I'm sure that's the same way for you too. All right, that's it. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time on What the Heck Wednesday. Take care.